Thank you for saving me.
Hello, and welcome back to Don't Miss Your Moment. As we continue with Brother Flores, let us remember to keep the main thing, and live by the hymn that we sing, seeking the lost, bringing the wanderers back home again, Jesus' Lamb for sinners slain. And now, Part 2.
And when I finally got out of intensive care 2 months later, it was actually 2.5 months later, they put me in a regular room. And then I went, after 2 weeks in a regular room, they put me in an airplane and sent me home. And then I went to the rehab where they taught me because I was paralyzed. And 7 months later, I came out of the rehab and I was scared to death. I look at life in a wheelchair. I looked at friends. I looked at everything, and it was so scary. Now, eventually, I was looking for God, and I couldn't find God in the places that I was looking for him. Finally, one day, my uncle told me that he wanted to take me somewhere to a man who has a relationship with God. And he didn't say God, he said the gods. And there was a man that dealt in witchcraft. And he threw some shells, killed a little chicken, and told me that the gods wanted me to become a priest, that the gods wanted me to become a witch doctor. And I said, well, whatever the gods want. So when this man told me that the gods would take me, I did the ceremony, and for a year I dressed in white. I didn't eat anywhere. I didn't go out anywhere. Everywhere I went with my teacher, and I learned how to speak Yoruba, an African language. I learned how to do spells and remove spells. And when I finally, after a year, became a real witch doctor, I was able to look at the kettles that held the gods that I was worshiping. And when I opened them, I saw statues 12 inches long of Satan in lead. Satan as a man, Satan as a woman, and Satan as a short person. And I looked at that and my heart fell to the floor because that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for God. At the school where I was working, there was a lady, an older lady, who had her eyes on me. And she kept asking me to come to church with her. She kept asking me to come to church because there was a meal, or come to church because there was a visiting preacher, or come to church because there was an interesting class starting. And I would say, yes, sure, no problem. And I would never show up. I know it was frustrating for her, but she was a fisherman. She had to find any way possible to get the hook in my mouth, to put Christ so that I could taste it. And one day she asked me what was my favorite meal. And I told her it was lasagna. So she said to me that if she would make me the best lasagna that I've ever tasted, if I would go with her to a Bible study. So I said, okay. And I went to the Bible study. When I went to the Bible study, because of the food, I ate 5 plates of lasagna. I had to go to the Bible study. When we got there, a man ordered that everybody take their seat, that he was going to start. And he started with a prayer, but it wasn't a ritual. It wasn't a quick prayer. He looked deep into his soul to find the words, the adequate words to talk to someone who he respected and honored and loved. And he started praying in such a tender way that made me think, wow, there's something different here. So he did his Bible study, and the Bible study was about me. And after the Bible study, I went up to him and I told him, I said, you could lie to liars, but you can't con a con. And you're trying to con me. This lady told you about me, and now you're trying to make believe that you're some kind of psychic by talking to me. And he said, no, this lady's not supposed to even be at this Bible study. She brought you without me knowing that she was even going to bring you. And the study that I said today, I already had planned. And I got what I studied from the Bible. So I told him, if that's true, then I need to meet with you. And he told me, well, come to the church tomorrow. And I said, no, I can't go into the church building. I can't do that because I was afraid that somebody would see me and kill me, somebody from the witchcraft. So I told him that I would rather meet him at a park. So we met at a park in Miami called Tropical Park, and we talked for a few hours. I told him everything about my life. At the Bible study, we made a plan to meet the next day, and these are moments that you don't want to miss. And so many people play with God and God's time and forgetting that today is the day of salvation. Today is the day of God's favor towards us, and we can't miss that opportunity. I've missed it so many times before. So we met at this park, Tropical Park, and there I told him about my life, and he gave me some scriptures and gave me a Bible, and I went home and started studying the Bible, the book of John. As we were studying at night in my home with the Bible, I would call him up at 2 or 3 in the morning and ask him, you mean God could forgive me for this sin? God could forgive me for that sin? And I would tell him things that I've done, and he would never tell me, well, I believe or I think. He would always give me the book and the chapter and the verse to make sure that I realized that the answers were coming from God and not from him. Finally, I wanted to accept all this that I've been hearing. So I asked him, I said, if I become a Christian today, how much work do I have to do before I'm saved? What if I become a Christian and somebody kills me the next day? So he told me that we become Christian so we could work. We don't work to become Christians. So that took a big load off my back because I didn't know how much longer after my initial baptism I was going to live in this world. So he told me, I studied some more, and a week and a half after I started studying with him, I went to church for the first time. Finally, the preacher did the invitation, and I went forward. And I was so scared that he was going to say, no, we don't accept your kind here. You need to go somewhere else. That I even took a weapon with me, thinking I would go to prison if I have to, but I want to be saved today. Finally, when I went forward, he said, oh, sure, why not? And we went to our brother's house, and at that brother's house, he asked me if I believed that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. He asked me, and told me that this was my time. He asked me if I believed that the Bible is the Word of God. He asked me if I believed that he died and was resurrected on the third day. And I said yes. And he asked me what my confession was. And my confession was that Christ is the Son of God. So after I did that, we went into the swimming pool. 4 men held me down because my body would float automatically. But I wasn't about to miss that moment, that time in my life where I could turn my whole life around. All the years that I spent, and like the song said, in vanity, I could have recovered by becoming a Christian, by being forgiven of my sin. And that's what becoming a Christian is. So in my life, I've had lots of opportunity to make the right decision. Most of the times, I make the wrong decision and let those minutes slip through my hand where I could have done something. But I am so grateful that I talked to God. I'm so grateful that he let me live. I'm so grateful that I took that extra life that he gave me to find him, to seek him, to search for him, to search his word. I got baptized June 21st, 1981. I didn't miss my moment. Even though I'm in a wheelchair, I've never stood taller. I've never walked taller. I've never had the life that I'm having now as a Christian. If I could beg you, if I could plead with you, not to miss your moment, not to miss those efforts of so many people that are reaching out to you. Take hold of those moments like I did. Turn your life around. And no matter what you have going on in your life, you will never be taller. You will never be prouder. You'll never be more like Christ than when you take those moments and say yes to God. Say yes to Christ.
Thank you for watching part 2 of Brother Flores on Don't Miss Your Moment. Please feel free to make a comment below. Also share and like this video with all your friends. Once again, thanks for watching.